Today in this video, we'll be going over special angle pairs and some algebra used with those special angle pairs, as well as looking at the segment addition postulate. The first example we'll look at today is on page 1 of your notes. I know it says example 4, but it's a little misleading. I just copied and pasted these from another paper. But the example says, if the measure of angle PQS is equal to 77 degrees, and the measure of angle PQR is equal to 32 degrees, find the measure of angle RQS. We know that this angle right here is equal to 77 degrees. We know that PQR, which is this little angle, is equal to 32 degrees. And it asks us to find the measure of this angle, RQS, right here. We don't know what that is, so we have to find it. This is simply our angle addition postulate. We know that this small angle, which is one part, right here, plus this angle right here, is equal to the whole angle that is drawn, which is PQR. So what we can do is take 77 and subtract 32 to get the measure of the angle that we don't know, which is RQS. 77 minus 32 is 45 degrees. So the measure of angle RQS is equal to 45. The next example, if ray XZ, which is right here, is an angle bisector, remember what angle bisector means, of angle WXY, name the two congruent angles that it forms. XZ is the angle bisector. To be an angle bisector means that it cuts the angle in exactly two congruent angles. So the angles that are formed, the congruent angles that are formed, are angle WXZ and it is congruent to angle YXZ. Now first we're just going to look at this example 8. We'll look at the picture that is drawn for us right here. It says ray FG bisects angle EFH. Find the value of x for each of the following. So let's look at example 8. We're told that EFG is equal to 5x minus 10, and the angle GFH is equal to 3x plus 25. We were also told earlier that FG bisects EFH. That means that these two angles are congruent. So when we say that they're congruent, that means they're equal. So we can take both of their expressions and set them equal to each other. 5x minus 10 equals 3x plus 25. Then we have to solve this equation. The next step that we're going to do, add 10 to each side. So that gives us 5x equals 3x plus 35. The next thing we'll do is subtract 3x from each side. So that gives us 2x equals 35. Divide each side by 2. So x equals 17.5. The next example we'll look at is example 9, right here. We still have the premise that ray FG, which is right here, bisects the angle EFH. From example 9, it tells us that angle GFH, which is this angle right here, is equal to 3x plus 20. Then we are told that angle EFH, which is the whole angle, is equal to 4x plus 80. From the first premise, we know that since FG is bisecting EFH, that this angle right here, which is angle EFG, is also equal to 3x plus 20. So if we remember our phrase from yesterday, part plus part is equal to the whole. So we have 6x plus 40, because we went ahead and added these two parts together. 3x and 3x is 6x, and 20 plus 20 is 40. And then we have equals the whole part, which is 4x plus 80. Now we have to solve this equation. We can subtract 40 from each side. So we have 6x equals 4x plus 40. Then we can subtract 4x from each side. So we have 2x equals 40. Sorry, I messed up. And then we can divide each side by 2. So we have x equals 20. The next example we have says line NP and line QR are perpendicular lines intersecting at point O. Find the value of x. We know when we have perpendicular lines that they come together to form 90-degree angle. So each angle that is formed here is 90 degrees. So what we can do is take the expression 5x minus 5 and set it equal to 90. Then we have to solve the equation. We can add 5 to both sides. So I have 5x equals 95. Then divide each side by 5. So x equals 13. Sorry. Each side equals 15. X equals 15. And that is our answer. Our next example says that line AC and line DE intersect at point B. Then it says find the value of x and the measure of angle EBC, which is this angle right here. So the first thing we need to do is determine what do we have in our picture. Our picture tells us that line AC and line DE are intersecting lines. And intersecting lines always create vertical angles. Those are the angles that are across from each other, like these two right here. We know that vertical angles are always congruent, so we can take their expressions and set them equal to each other. 2x plus 20 is equal to 3x plus 15. Then we can solve that equation. We can subtract 15 from both sides. That gives us 2x plus 5 is equal to 3x. Then I can subtract 2x from both sides. And that gives me 5 is equal to x. So I know what my x value is, and then I can find what each of these angles are. All I have to do is plug in that x value. So I have 2 times 5 plus 20. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 20 is 30 degrees. So know that both of these angles that we just worked with are 30 degrees. But now I need to find the measure of angle EBC. If we look, it's adjacent to angle ABE. If they are adjacent angles and they form a line, which these two do, their measures should add up to be 180 degrees. So we can find the angle of ABC by taking 180 and subtracting 30. Once we do that, we get 150 degrees. So the measure of angle EBC is equal to 150 degrees. Our next example says that line LN and line OP intersect at point M, which is right here. Find the value of x and the measure of angle LMO and the angle of OMN. If you look, LMO is right here, OMN is adjacent to it, and they form a line. So these two angles are linear pairs. We know that linear pairs add up to be 180 degrees. So we can take 7x plus 20 and 5x plus 10, add them together, and make them equal 180. 5x plus 7x is equal to 12x. And 10 plus 20 is equal to 30. So we have 12x plus 30 is equal to 180. And now we solve for x in this equation. We can subtract 30 from both sides. So we have 12x equals 150. And then I can divide both sides by 12. So x is equal to 12.5. Now, to find the measures of both of those angles, I can take the x value and plug it into each equation. For angle OMN, I can take 5 times 12.5 plus 10. That would be 72.5. That's the measure of angle OMN. To find the measure of angle LMO, we can take 7 times 12.5 plus 20. And that would give us 102.5. The second to last example that we have asks you to find all the missing angles. What we have is 3 intersecting lines, but each of these create vertical angles to help us determine the angles that are unknown. If you look, we need to find angles 1, 2, 3, and 4. Angle 1 and angle 4 are vertical angles, so we have no information to go on yet. Angle 110 degrees and angle 2 are vertical angles. So know that angle 2 is 110 degrees. The vertical angle with the angle that is 45 degrees is angle 3. So know that angle 3 is 45 degrees because vertical angles are always congruent. Now I must understand and figure what angle 1 is. If I look, angle 1, along with the angle that measures 45 degrees and the angle that measures 110 degrees, form a line. And we all know that if they form a line, they add up to 180 degrees. So I can take 110 plus 45, and whatever I get, I can subtract from 180. That is 155 degrees. the two angles together equal 155 degrees. I can take that and subtract it from 180, which is 25. So the measure of angle 1 is 25 degrees, and the measure of angle 4 is 25 degrees as well, because angle 1 and angle 4 are vertical angles. The last example we have says that ray CD, which is right here, is perpendicular to line AB. We know if they're perpendicular, they form 90-degree angles. So this angle right here is 90 degrees, and this angle right here is 90 degrees. We're also told that the measure of angle 1 is equal to 6x plus 3, or minus 3, and the measure of angle 2 is equal to 7x minus 11. We know that these two angles added together equal 90 degrees. So I can do 7x plus 6x, which gives me 13x, and negative 11 plus a negative 3, which gives me a negative 14, and set it equal to 90 degrees. From then, to find the value of x, all we have to do is solve the equation. The first thing that we will do is add 14 to each side. So we have 13x is equal to 104. The next step is divide each side by 13. So x is equal to 8. Thank you for watching. I hope that y'all got a lot out of this video.